Hey everybody, today's an exciting video. I'm building up my dedicated bikepacking bike. For the dropper post, I partnered with 9.8. They sent me a fall line to run as my dropper for this build. I love this dropper. One really cool feature about it, it uses a different system inside, so it's not such high pressure. It's like 40 PSI instead of, I don't know, 150 to 200 like other droppers have, so the seals are under way less pressure. It also has a reset function through the dropper lever. So if it develops a little bit of squish, you can reset it right there with no tools on the side of the trail in 10 seconds and it's ready to go. So with bikepacking, the name of the game is serviceable in the field and durable, and that meets both of those requirements. Let's check it out. Here we go, we got some special goodies. This is an extra, this is my seat post collar. Really well made stuff. This is extra too, your dropper won't always come with this. This is the grease to keep it running. I decided to go with the Digit dropper lever. This was made by Wolf Tooth in conjunction with 9.8, so it's just like a Wolf Tooth lever. I've used this on my other bike, love it. And here we go, here's the Fall Line R. The R1 is significantly lighter. Super cool, check it out. They put the Hardtail Party logo on it. I really appreciate that. Thanks you guys. And yeah, we got the markings on the back so we can remember how far we like to have it inserted so we can always come back to the same place. That was really cool of you guys to laser etch this on there. Thank you so much. One interesting fact between the tie middle child and the steel middle child is they have different size seat post diameters. This is a 31.6, whereas the steel one uses the smaller one. Let's put this on at least so we can clamp it in the stand. So I've been working in shops since the mid-90s, and this is a must-have tool for your shop. They're expensive, but they will last you forever. It's the Wera Hex Plus. I'll put a link to these in the description below. Ball end on this side and hex on this side, but they're not just a normal hex. They're kind of this concave hex, almost like Torx, and that reduces stripping, which is really cool. Reduces rounding of the bolt head. This is really nice, like the old Thompson stuff. This has machined ridges in it. Some people freak out if you clamp your bike by the dropper post. As long as your post is clean and your clamp is clean, I don't have a problem with it. Don't do anything crazy like pull down on it. It's just holding your bike while you build it. It's so fun having a dedicated shop where I can just build bikes. I've never had that at my home, and it's really, really fun. I like building bikes as much as riding them, so I can see myself hanging out down here during the rainy days when it's too muddy to ride and working on the bikes. That's fun. For the fork, I'm running RSD's aluminum rigid fork. I used this on my last bikepacking trip and fell in love with it. It's got a little bit taller axle to crown measurement than a lot of rigid forks, so it still maintains the slacker head angle of this frame, which I like, and it keeps the front end up so you're not too hunched over. I really like the mounting points, and I like the consistent feel of a fork that's not diving. For the stem, I'm running a 9.8 stout stem. I've got these on 3 of my other bikes. I really like them. I did not pay for this. 9.8 sent it to me, and it's my favorite stem. Really well machined. It comes with its own torque wrench, so you don't strip anything or over torque it. It even comes with really nice aluminum spacers that are lighter than my carbon ones. And we're gonna go with the 50 mil stem. Really amazing machine work on these, and these are sturdy stems. I really like them. So if you haven't been back in the mountain bike world for a while, stems are now being mounted a little bit differently. You used to mount the faceplate even with an even gap between the top and the bottom, but now they're designing them to be run flush on the top, so you torque the top 2 bolts down, and then you start tightening the bottom 2 and torque those. That we're finding puts less stress on the bars, and it gets people tightening their stems more evenly. So check your stem to see if it does that. I really like the way 9.8 has these center markings on them so you can see the angle of your bar. Beautiful stem, and there's no sharp edges because sharp edges and stems and knees do not go together. We're running a 50 mil stem on this with a 35 mil diameter clamp. The 35 mil is not needed, but all of my other bikes have it, and I want to be able to swap bars between them, so I'm keeping it consistent. One thing that's frustrating building up hardtails in particular is finding standards, and a lot of us build hardtails with old leftover parts. We buy the frame and then put the parts from our old bike on it, like I'm doing today. And with different bottom brackets and hub sizes and seat tube sizes and headset sizes and boost and non-boost and all this stuff, it can be really tricky. We're gonna reuse the Race Face Affect cranks from like 7 bikes ago, back when I had the Chameleon. I'm using this Gojo pad again. It dried out and I just got it wet and it worked right back. I'm kind of weird. I kind of like seeing wear like on the cranks. It means you've been riding your bike a lot. It's kind of like a worn-in pair of jeans, or with my guitars, I like the worn-in guitars that when you wear them, they beat up on their own. I'm weird like that, but I think it's kind of a cool sign that you're riding your bike a lot. But here's a little trick. If you don't like that, you can use nail polish that's the same color as your components. So I don't like it on my derailleur. I'm gonna touch this up once I clean it up. I'll show you how I do that, but my wife tells me to use 1 step because some nail polishes are 2-step. It's kind of like a primer and a top coat on your nails, but a 1-step does it all in one. I also like touching it up so after I hit a rock or something, I can see where the new scratch is, so I can tell what just happened and what hit and check it out to see if it's damaged or not. So apart from my cranks, I do like to touch most of this stuff up. We always grease these threads. Here's a trick. Spin it backwards until the threads click. You'll hear it like that. That means they've lined up, and then you can thread it back in. Same thing here, spacer on the drive side. We thread it backwards, which is, it's confusing. These have backwards threads on the drive side. So we do this until it clicks, and then, oh, that didn't quite click. Then we thread it in that way. I'm one of those guys who loves threaded bottom brackets, especially when you're recycling parts from one bike to another. We'll tighten the non-drive side first. Props to Race Face for riding the torque pounds. 35 foot-pounds is not a crazy amount. These cranks are nothing special. They're Race Face Affect. They're not great, but they're not bad. You don't need insane cranks for bike packing. Sure, I would love a really nice set, but if I had the budget for it, I'd upgrade these one more to the turbines. I like the turbines. They got a bigger spindle, and I like the interface better. But these will be just fine. These are 170s. I like 170 length cranks. And this has a little lip on the edge that you put in, so red line in. And you make sure they're even. I've always wanted to mess with a friend and go like this, so their cranks were not even. But I like my friends too much, but that'd be funny. Another tip, you can use this on your frame if you have a painted frame to touch up nicks, is to get some nail polish that's close to the same color. That's one nice thing about running a cheap crank. You can just bash it all day long and it doesn't even matter. It's ironic, I've even bashed it right there. Pretty good. There's a lot of rocks here in Sedona, but you can hide quite a bit with that. Like I said, this isn't a show bike, so I'm not too worried, but we'll do a little bit. I dare someone to take their bike to the nail salon and get this done professionally. I'd love to see what they say. I'll bet they could teach us a few tricks though. If you learned something useful in this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and consider becoming a patron. That would really help me. If my videos benefit you, I'd love to know it, and that's a great way to show your thanks.